Hello and welcome. Today I want to fill you guys in on my plans for the Grand Naval Battles event. In the background you will see me playing the Kagerou in a match that's not all that interesting, but it does show how ridiculously much experience you can get almost purely by capping. Anyways, the Grand Naval Battles event is a month-long event on the EU server where you can do these kinds of missions where you win, where you can get some diamonds. The missions are similar to the in-game missions you can get. Anyways, with those diamonds you can get some rewards, but you can't get all of them through the missions you have been assigned. You can win some extra diamonds from community contributed contests. They have 1,000 diamonds to give away every week, with some limitations. Anyways, and this video is my plans for said contests. As you probably know, for the first week I am running a replay contest for the highest base experience per ship class, plus one wild card. The match has to be from the Grand Naval Battles event. That means it has to have happened after the 4th of May. And essentially I will give 200 diamonds for the highest base XP in a destroyer, 200 diamonds for highest base experience in a cruiser, 200 diamonds for the highest base experience in a battleship, 200 diamonds for the highest base experience in an aircraft carrier, and 200 diamonds for a wildcard match, which is simply a match that I pick on my own based on me essentially just liking the match or thinking it's a great one. The replays have to be submitted by the 10th of May, 6 p.m. Germany's time, which I think is CEST. So essentially you probably only have a few hours, if even that, from the posting of this video to still submit for the week 1 event. There will be no repeat winners. This means that if you win in the first week, you will not be winning again for in my contests in week 2, week 3, etc. You also can't win in multiple categories. There's a link in the description of the video to go to the forum thread, which details exactly how to submit, what you need to submit, etc. For the second week, I'm running 2 separate types of contests: a guide contest with 4 prizes and a replay contest with 1 prize. If you want to know detailed explanations, click on the link in the description of the video to go to the week 2 forum thread. Anyways, what I'm giving out in terms of prizes is 200 diamonds for the best destroyer guide, 200 diamonds for the best cruiser guide, 200 diamonds for the best battleship guide, 200 diamonds for the best aircraft carrier guide, 200 diamonds for the best replay in a tier 5 or below ship from the 4th of May onwards, so essentially during the Grand Naval Battles event. In terms of the replay, it'll be very similar to the first week, but in this time I want you to explain why your replay is so great when you're submitting it. Also, if you want to know the details of the submission, again, click on the link in the description of the video to go to the forum thread. So, in terms of guide, time first. The submissions end for both the replay contest and the guide contest on the 17th of May at 3 p.m. Germany's time, which I think is still CEST. So essentially, for the replay contest, I just want to see some amazing tier 5 or below matches. And for the guide contest, I would just like to have some introductory guides for players for those ship classes. Someone asked me how they should approach cruises, because, you know, cruises in different nations have wildly different playstyles, and I agree. If you want, you can pick just one of the cruiser lines you want to focus on, because I know that the Japanese cruisers play quite differently at higher tiers than the lower ones, but again, you are competing against other people who will be making like a basic cruiser guide. So the things that I want to see is explaining the basics. Essentially, if you had an aircraft carrier guide, I would like to see you explain torpedo bomber drops, dive bomber drops, strafing, what kind of modules you get, what kind of commander skills you get, then when you should pick your fights and when you should engage and what kind of ships you should engage. For a destroyer guide, I would like to see explaining what concealment is, how it more or less works, how stealth firing essentially also works, because that one does get important in destroyers. Then how smoke works, especially the concealment thing. You know, and things like capping gives you a lot of experience. for battleships, what kind of targets you should pick, why you shouldn't sail on broadside, why you shouldn't sail to the edge of the map, etc. Essentially things like that. I would just like to have some kind of textual and image guide that I could eventually turn either into a video, or the guide would be good enough on its own in text form that it would be good enough to show to you know, other people who would want to get better at the game. So that is what I want to see in terms of the guides. For the third week, I'm going to have a modding contest for skins and a replay contest for the best play of the week. On top of that, there will be possibly a contest I haven't quite decided upon. But anyways, I would like to see some new skins for our current ships. I will have a video up soon on how to create skins for the ships, but it has a lot to do with drawing and photoshopping and similar things. Essentially, you're just going to be editing textures for the game and all trying to make the ships look good. So the prizes are as follows in categories: 100 diamonds for the best play of the week. You submit a replay with a good play in it, and then you describe what the play was and why it was good. And then I will pick out some of them and I will feature them in a YouTube video, but only one of them will win. The actual diamonds, you know. So 200 diamonds for the best Estonian-themed Izyaslav class destroyer skin. So according to Wikipedia and some other sources, the Izyaslav class destroyers were built in Estonia, and Estonia actually owned one of the destroyers after World War I. It was named Lennuk, which by the way is a ridiculous name for a destroyer. The skin doesn't have to be historical in any sense, but it would be nice if it was themed. For instance, a good starting point would be that Estonia's flag is blue, black and white stripes, so you might look at that one for some inspiration or a starting point. Anyways, another 200 points for the best Montana skin. The only real requirement there is that it should not be rusty, for me at least. And then 200 diamonds for the best skin for any of the other ships. But I would like these skins to be new, so none of these anime skins that already exist, please. So the submissions end for the skin modding contest and replay contest on the 24th of May at 11 AM Germany's time. But I would like to ask anyone who is going to take part in the skin modding contest to at least let me know. You don't even have to, you know, announce it on the forum. You could just email me or something, because I would like to know that some people are taking part in it. Because, you know, if it turns out that there isn't enough people to take part in the skin modding contest, then it'll be a bit silly, don't you think? And I could use those points to give out in another way. But if you add these up, these only add up to 700 points. So the other 300 points are up for grabs for activities I haven't fully decided in detail yet. And if it turns out that there isn't enough interest in the modding contest for the skins, then I will probably use them for something like this as well. So I was thinking of running 1 versus 1 tournament for low tier destroyers, but that might take a whole bunch of effort, and it would depend heavily on how many people would be taking part in it. Would you guys take part in a tier 3 destroyer duel? Like a tournament, essentially like a tournament bracket, and the winner would get 200 diamonds and the number 2 spot would get 100 diamonds. I would really like to know what you guys would think of this. Like, the idea would be that the duel would be on the map Ocean, and you would both start the duel on the edges of the cap point in the middle of the map at B. So you both run into the cap, and then the winner is whoever can cap the point. So essentially, if you leave the cap and run away, you lose. But if you can kill the enemy, of course you're going to be the one to get the cap, so you will win. Also, if it's like a double kill where both sides kill each other, the one that survives the longest ends up winning. So I would like to know whether you guys would take part in something like this. Oh yeah, and the event will most likely be during the 3rd week's weekend during the evening times of Europe. For the 4th week, I will give out 100 diamonds for another play of the week. Also, when I say play of the week, it has to be within the week of the end of the contest, so essentially the play has to happen during the 4th week, where essentially you submit a replay with a good play in a match where something amazing happened, and you describe what happened and then I will pick out the best ones, and essentially the best one gets the 100 diamonds. But I will feature more than one replay on the YouTube video, so other people can be shown too. There will be a thread later describing this in detail. So the other part of the 4th week I am unsure of again. I would like to have, hear your feedback on what you think of the following. I was thinking of holding 2 free-for-all battles with up to tier 3 destroyers on something like Big Race, where the entire battle would be inside the zone mode, zone. I imagine torpedoes only would be the best way to go about it, and it's a free-for-all, so you essentially have to kill all the other destroyers. Would you guys be interested in something like this? Rewards for it would likely be 200 diamonds for the 1st place, 100 diamonds for the 2nd place, and that is the 1st place is somebody who is still alive. Or maybe if you would like, we could do 200 diamonds for the 1st place and maybe 100 diamonds for whoever killed the most ships, but that one will be a bit difficult because it has to be self-reported due to team kills, as well. So the other 300 diamonds, I was thinking of having a tier 8 battleship 1 versus 1 jousting type duel, where you will fight a duel just like in the 3rd week, but this time in tier 8 or lower battleships. Deliberate ramming is not allowed, and no torpedoes are allowed to be used, so sorry Terpits, you don't get a free win there. The duel starts inside or at the edge of the big cap on ocean in domination mode, just like the destroyer one, and you start out apart and facing each other, and then you have to rush towards each other but not ram one another until the bow of your ship for both sides passes one another. At that point you are free to go wherever you want, but whoever caps the point wins, or whoever is left standing when the other guy dies. So if it's like a few seconds apart on survival, then obviously the guy that killed the other one first wins. So this would essentially be also a dual one, but I would also like to hear whether you guys would be interested in actually taking part in something like this. Because, again, if there aren't enough participants, then it'll not be that interesting. The idea would be just because I have seen battleship duels happen, and I noticed that many of them don't play them quite correctly, and this is why I would like to see what kind of things people would actually figure out in this kind of a scenario. So what do you guys think of the events? Would you take part in them? Why? Why not? And these would also happen at a similar time as the 3rd week's duels, which is on the weekend of the 4th week. Again, at evening times in Europe. So anyways, this is what I have for you guys. Please leave some feedback, and if you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe, and thanks for watching.